There's an adventure inside all of us. Some of us live for that adventure. Others let it take them someplace new. Your adventure begins here at Wind River Resort and Casino. Your adventure begins here at Wind River Resort and Casino.
Happy Wednesday morning to you. It is July 1st. Yeah, we are the first of the month, and we are getting ready to celebrate our nation's 250th birthday. How exciting is that? July 4th coming up on Saturday. It's going to be getting a little bit warmer. I can get that out here as we do go into the weekend, but still keeping it below normal over the next few days. Looking at a live shot from our Divine Sky Cam in Redding. See a couple of clouds out there this morning. There's actually a little bit of activity over the Gulf of Alaska that's kind of moving in our direction, giving us some of those clouds that we are seeing this morning, but that's really the extent of it. It's still going to be another fairly warm day, and of course not to mention dry day as well. Taking a look at Shasta Lake. This is out of Jones Valley Resort, and this is sponsored by Elwood Ranch. You can see just some of the winds we have out there this morning as the American flags are flapping in the wind there, and you can see some of those high clouds that are kind of filtering through as well. And a few clouds out towards Crescent City as well this morning, but just those mid and high level clouds. Not much in the way of fog for many of you along the coast. They're turning out to be another nice start to the day. Great shot sent to us by Vanessa Cartwright. This is a photo from Montgomery Pond that she took during the placer fire yesterday. Of course, now the placer fire is fine. They've stopped forward progress on that, but this is kind of show some of the things that they do to try to help keep those fires under control. And there is Vanessa, kind of getting that action on film or in the digital world, right? Now, Vanessa shared her photo from the free Weather NorCal app. You can do the same. Just search for Weather NorCal in your app store. Not only will you download the most accurate, the most reliable weather app for your phone for local here in Northern California, but you can also share your photos from that free Weather NorCal app. Let's take a look at your Wednesday, July 1st, Krueger's Quick Cast here. The skeeter meter for today, 2.4, and that's the case for this week. The Shasta Mosquito and Vector Control is what puts out this skeeter meter and also is there for you. If you have any comments or concerns about any mosquitoes in your area, any standing water that you're concerned about, they can take care of you. Just call the number on your screen. Let's take a look at your temperatures out there right now. We're in the mid to upper 60s, although in Redding right now we're sitting at about 70 degrees, 37 out in Bernie, 44 degrees in Mount Shasta. And there you can see Eureka, a temperature of about 51 degrees at the current hour. Let's go and take a look at out the door this morning. Again, just a couple of high clouds out there as we're seeing, but otherwise mainly sunny skies. Temperatures in the 40s, 50s for the higher elevations, and close to 70 by 8 o'clock this morning in the valley. So there you can see some of the clouds that are in advance of the main batch of clouds off to our north and west. And I do think that the clouds you see there over the Gulf of Alaska will eventually move in over us, but probably not until tomorrow. Take a look at your swimming forecast. It's going to be a warm one out there again for today, but actually below normal highs for your daytime highs. And by the way, your safety tip of the week around the water is from Mindy from Redding ISR. You can, of course, check her out at reddingisr.com. Assign a water watcher, someone dedicated to watch the water with no distractions. You can change this and rotate it between parents and adults every 15 minutes, and they can keep an eye on the kiddos as they're in the water to make sure everyone is safe. Just another great tip coming in from Mindy Odell from Redding ISR. Temperatures in the low to mid 90s for the valley today. Temperatures in the 70s and 80s for the higher elevations, and how about low to mid 60s for the coast. And for tonight, we're looking at temperatures in the low 60s for the valley, 40s and even 50s for the higher elevations. We'll call it upper 40s to low 50s for the coast. Your 7-day outlook for the valley. Keeping it below normal, low to mid 90s. Who is this? Excuse me, I'm sorry, I got a little distracted. Distractions, so many things going on. So basically low to mid 90s. So low 90s for places like Chico, mid 90s for the north end of the valley. And it looks like on Friday, we're seeing a little bump up in our temperatures and even more so over the weekend. So Redding and Red Bluff probably around 100 degrees or slightly higher. And then you can see in Chico, probably more like the mid to upper 90s. Then another slight dip, but still temperatures around or just above normal for this time of the year by Monday, Tuesday of next week. Now for the coast, actually seeing temperatures dropping a bit. I expect more of a marine layer by the weekend and especially next week. That's going to drop the temperatures down a bit. Otherwise, everywhere else, inland, mountains, and of course the valley, looking at warmer weather over the weekend. Slight dip early next week, but keeping those temperatures right around or just above normal. Quick look at your fire weather update. Not terribly concerned about the winds, although I will say this, very gusty winds that we are seeing on the coast. That's why we have the hazardous seas warning there. But otherwise, the winds aren't a big concern. What's the biggest concern is the fact that it's warm and it's dry. But what the fire weather risk does is it combines temperature, wind, and humidity. When you have high wind, high temperatures, and low humidity, that's when you get into that extreme fire danger, right? But when you can really lower the risk with different aspects, such as the fact that the winds aren't terribly strong. So yes, it's still warm, it's still dry, but even then I say warm, we're not talking 110 degrees. We're talking mid-90s. So mid-90s, still very dry. That doesn't mean we can let our guard down, folks, because we are now officially in that time of the year where you can't let our guard down at all. But we can know that if a fire does start, that the firefighters will most likely be able to get a handle on these fires in the days to come, even going into the weekend. Now you'll notice on Saturday we're beginning to see some more oranges on the map. Temperatures are going to be hot. Temperature is most likely 100 degrees or higher in most cases for the valley. Winds, again, not terribly strong, but it's dry. So with the warmer temperatures and the low humidity, that's going to elevate that fire weather risk most likely going into the weekend, unfortunately. All right, let's take a look at your Redding sky cam here, Divine sky cam here. Again, just some of the clouds that we are seeing out there this morning. There were mainly clear skies, though, earlier this morning. You can see Lake Shastina at the Lake Shastina Golf Resort, sponsored by Elwood Ranch. A few clouds out there this morning. You can see some of the clouds out at Shasta Lake. This is the Jones Valley Resort, sponsored by Elwood Ranch. Some of the passing high clouds and the flags blown in the wind. You got the open waters and yeah, some winds kind of blown as a result this morning. Soda Ridge this morning. This is one of the PG&E cameras. Taking a look at Lassen Volcanic National Park. Green out there. That's good, right? So not a lot of dry brush. So that's good to see as well. We do have the sunny skies out there this morning. Take a look at Lake Oroville. This is a live stream coming in from SRA there. Taking a look now also at Main Street Chico on Highway 32. Looks like traffic is flowing along there just quite nicely. Taking a look at Crescent City, Harbor District. Like everywhere else in Northern California, we are seeing some of those clouds. There may be some patchy fog in some areas. And speaking of the coast, we've got Jackie Dixon, one of our regulars, checking in this morning saying, good morning from Trinidad. Yeah, we got someone up just checked in here too. I'm finally up early enough to say hello. It's been too long, Mike. Well, it's been too long, Hannah. So glad you could join us this morning. And so glad you could say hello. Hello to you and hello to everybody else watching this morning. And take a look at some other cameras around the region. We've got Bald Hill West. And it's to be expected, we are seeing some of those high and a few mid-level clouds, but otherwise mainly blue skies, clear sunny skies out there this morning. Just a couple of those passing clouds. We're looking at Scott Valley as well. Well, our big sponsor here for Coffee with Krueger is Wind River Resort and Casino. And we've got a word from Wind River.
It's time to kick back, forget about your trouble, and have a good time. Wind River Resort and Casino is proud to welcome Uncle Krueger back to the Event Center stage Friday, August 14th. Drift away with his signature laid-back blend of country, pop, and rock, spiked with a splash of hip-hop. Tickets for this feel-good summertime show start at just $25 plus fees. Smile as you enjoy over 2 decades of multi-platinum top charters. Reserve tickets today at windriver.com. Your adventure begins here. Wind River Resort and Casino.
All right, so take a look at the weather headlines here. The highs will be near normal over the next few days. We're going to see a spike on Friday, bigger spike over the weekend, especially as we go into the 4th of July. And then highs will be slightly above normal as we take you through next week. Keep in mind, the normal high is about, by the time we get into next week, is about 98. Okay, so if we get up to 98, 99, 100, that's about normal. And that's nothing unusual for us. Now, for those of you that are new to the area, yeah, that might be something that, you're not used to, and you may need to just make sure you're taking the necessary precautions. But for those of you that are acclimated to this type of heat, again, this is nothing unusual. Now, potentially bigger heat near the middle of the week. I am seeing and have been seeing a trend towards the potential for 110 plus degree temperatures, maybe near the middle of July. That's a long way out. No guarantees, even close to guarantees on that one, but it's something I'll be watching very closely. In the meantime, let's take a look at your deeper dive forecast for your Wednesday, July 1st. It's pretty mild this morning in Redding, 70 degrees, 66 for Red Bluff, 66 in Chico. We got about 38 degrees in Alturas, and right now about 51 degrees in Crescent City. We take a look at the satellite image. You got a lot of clouds over the Pacific, right, or especially over the Gulf of Alaska. We're seeing a few clouds with a weak disturbance kind of pushing on through. It's bringing us a few clouds this morning, but for the most part, we're going to be mainly sunny. These clouds, I think, could impact us. I think we may see a few more clouds coming in tomorrow, and that may hinder our temperatures a little bit. But overall, here's the trend that we're seeing this week. You see this? It's what we call a trough of low pressure. Now, in the winter, it typically brings us much cooler weather and wetter weather as well. But this time of the year, it typically just brings us temperatures that are still fairly warm, if not hot, depending on how you look at it, just not as hot as it could be. Because the main heat that we're seeing right now is way off to our west in the Pacific, and another big bubble of heat over the eastern Pacific, eastern United States, that is, which you've probably heard about the big heat wave heading on over there, because they've also got the humidity, which can really play a big factor in how dangerous that heat can be. For us, we're typically much drier. But that being said, we're sandwiched between the two with more mild air, if you will, and that's why it's not as hot as it could be. Now watch what happens as we go into Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Saturday, of course, the 4th of July. We've got some heat coming in from the desert southwest. It's going to be building and expanding northwestward, closer and closer to us. So you think about these domes of high pressure that we talk about, right? We've talked about this before. The center of the dome is the highest part of the dome, and that's where the biggest heat is. On the outer fringes of that dome, it's not quite as deep, but it's still hot nonetheless. So we're on the outer fringe of that dome, and that's why our temperatures are increasing. It's also chipping away at that trough of low pressure that's over us right now, and it's breaking it down, and as a result, we've got more of what we call a zonal flow type pattern. Now, what's happened is typically in the winter, this zonal flight, when we have a zonal flow type pattern, number one, it cools us off, but it's typically the jet stream right here. This is typically much farther to the south and is usually aimed at us, or at least the very least the Pacific Northwest. And that's where that storms follow, right? The track of that jet stream. And so that's up to our north. But to the south of that jet stream is where we have the warmer air. So in the summer, this typically shifts farther to the north, and that's why we see temperatures get much warmer, right? Now, we can see here as we go into Monday of next week, that dome of high pressure still over the desert southwest, but what's keeping it from really moving in is another trough right here. You see that trough? So what that's doing is preventing that ridge from building in quite as strong. And you can see as we go into Wednesday, Thursday of next week, still a little bit of a weak trough right here, keeping this heat at bay. Now, I do think it's going to be a bit warmer for next week. We're talking upper 90s to maybe even around 100 degrees, but we're not going to be talking 105, 110, 115, okay? But we could be talking about that potential at about 110 degrees, give or take, as we get towards the middle of the month. But again, that's a long way out. Looking at the temperature outlook for the next 10 days or so, this warmer than normal air, or warmer than normal temperatures that we're expecting coming in from the Climate Prediction Center, has this shifting more and more to the west, and eventually we'll just be in that warmer than normal category. Right now we're just barely in that near normal, and that's because look at this, right? Near normal. The normal high is 97 now. By next week it'll probably be up to about 98. All right, so bear that in mind when you look at today and tomorrow, right? Very nice, or at least nicer, mid-90s, upper 90s by Friday. And look at this. I mean, really, we just average it out, at least for Redding, about 100 degrees. Some days just below 100 degrees, some days just above 100 degrees, or some days right around, right? So you can see on Saturday, 4th of July, 102. Then a little dip. We keep that around the upper 90s Tuesday, Wednesday, and then another little spike, 100 to 102. So this is not a major heat wave by any stretch of the imagination. It's going to be a stretch of some fairly hot temperatures, but it's normal for this time of the year. This is normal. And as I mentioned earlier, for those of you that are used to this type of heat, you've lived here your whole life, all right, what we're seeing right here, you're going, not a big deal, right? Because it's normal for us, right? But for those of you that are new to the area, you're probably thinking, oh my goodness, what did I get myself into? Why did I move here? Well, I mean, come on. Look where you live. This is a beautiful place. It just gets a little warm. As long as you can get through that, you should be in good shape. Lots of great ways to stay cool, right? Go to the lakes, go to the pool, all that good stuff. All right, so that's what it's looking like over the next 10 days. No big major changes, no big heat waves heading our way. Now, looking at Futurecast, what we've got here is just some afternoon clouds developing. Not a whole lot today, mainly off in the eastern mountains. We are seeing a little bit of fog developing again, especially around Humboldt Bay. And I think that's where most of the fog will be over the next few days, around Humboldt Bay. But look at tomorrow afternoon. We are seeing some afternoon clouds developing and a little spots of green. Could we see a stray sprinkle or a light shower for parts of Siskiyou, Modoc County, maybe even northern Trinity County? Sure, not out of the question. I wouldn't count on it though, that's for sure. We take a look at your Friday, day before the 4th of July, and there you can see just some of the afternoon clouds developing. Again, not expecting much in the way of rain, if any. Looks like more of a marine layer along the entire coast by Friday afternoon, including Del Norte County. But Saturday, look at Saturday. We're actually seeing some clearing along the coast. The Humboldt Bay having a little bit more of a difficult time. That's Saturday night, by the way, that we're looking at here. And you can see the mainly clear skies. So for the fireworks displays in the valley and the mountains, I think you're going to be okay. You may run into a few issues with that low clouds and fog for parts of especially Humboldt Bay. But otherwise, it looks like even Crescent City looks okay. All right, so let's take a look at what we've got with those lake levels. This is what I keep my eye on right here. This is the main thing. This is where my eye goes, and probably where a lot of your eyes go, right when I pull this map up, because that's what we want to pay attention to. Are we still above normal for this for the historical average? And the answer to that is yes. And yes, we are still seeing some fairly dramatic drops in a 24-hour period, but that's normal for us to take water from these reservoirs because we need that water here during this dry summer heat, right? All right, so there you can see the wave heights are high today. That's why we still have that hazardous seas warning. But look at this big drop in those wave heights going into your Thursday. So that should make for better conditions if you need to be on a small boat or you're out there fishing. There you can see those winds from the north at about 20 to 25 knots, and there is that hazardous seas warning. Neighborhood forecast sponsored by Dignity Health and Grange Co-op. Temperatures are going to be somewhere in the upper 80s to low 90s for Trinity County. So what you'll notice is a little bit warmer on Friday, mid to upper 90s Saturday, Sunday, and then a slight dip, but temperatures near normal for Monday, Tuesday. Now the coast, with the exception of the coast, because what we're seeing here is basically an increase in temperatures over the weekend across the board, minus the coast, right? Because there you can see Saturday, Sunday, it's actually cooler. And probably more of a marine layer by the weekend going into early next week. But everywhere else, like the inland areas, warmer by the weekend, slight dip early next week, but still right around or just above normal for this time of the year. Same story for Siskiyou County. There you can see 81 degrees for Fort Jones, 84 in Happy Camp. And it looks like Mount Shasta City, about 79 degrees for your daytime high. Modoc County, mid to upper 70s for your highs today, 78 degrees in Alturas, 74 degrees in Cedarville. Eastern Mountains, 80 for Westwood. Chester about 79, and looks like Paradise topping out at about 84 degrees. And for the valley to the south, much like it's been the last few days, right? Low 90s. No big changes here. Let's take a look at that 7-day forecast for Chico. No big changes through Thursday. So it warms up Friday, warms up even more for your 4th of July. But Chico, I think, should dodge that triple-digit mark with a high of about 98. But for Redding, well, of course, 95 today, 94 degrees for Red Bluff. And your 7-day forecasts, different story than Chico. We probably won't dodge that triple-digit heat, but it won't be here until the weekend. Still close, though, on Friday with a high of 98, 102 for your 4th of July, and upper 90s by Monday and Tuesday. So yeah, it's warming up, but it's normal. This is normal for us this time of the year, so nothing out of the ordinary. Got a couple other people that have checked in here this morning, and Jackie's saying good. The afternoon winds have been pretty strong on the coast so that's why there's that hazardous seas warning for people on small boats, people who fish on the coast. And it's not just over the water, but yes, it's been also along the coast. You've been seeing those gusty winds, so thank you for that report. Jackie, taking a look at Jeff Johnson saying good morning, Mike. And we've got Shelly saying good morning from Weaverville. Hope you stay cool and have a nice 4th. Yes, I agree. I hope you all have a nice 4th as well, but of course, we still have a few days from that at this point. We've got a look at the calendar. What's it? All kinds of days, national this, that, this and that day. National Creative Ice Cream Flavors Day. Well, I can tell you what right now, Taste and See Creamery is one of the areas, at least in Reading, that has some of the most creative ice cream flavors. So, what is your pick? Who do you think has the most creative ice cream where you live? Whether it's in Reading, whether it's in Eureka, whether it's in Trinidad, whether it's wherever. Let me know. Let me know in the comments. And I might even ask you on a social media post, and we might have a little fun with that today. We'll see. We've also got, I did it again. Here it is. So I was talking about the National Creative Ice Cream Flavors Day. There you go. We've also got National Postal Worker Day. Well, there you go. So maybe when you see your postal worker, just say thank you and say to them, Happy National Postal Worker Day. National Ginger Snap Day. Who doesn't love ginger snaps? Good stuff. There are some cookie shops in town. I know you've got, what's that one? Cookies and yogurt. I bet you they're going to have ginger snaps today. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. National U.S. Postage Stamp Day. Well, okay, I guess that goes in conjunction with National Postal Worker Day. So, are you going to celebrate National Creative Ice Cream Flavors Day? I might. I typically don't have any sweets unless it's Thursday, so we'll see. But I might have a little fun with that today. Be on the lookout for that social media. We'll see if I have a little fun with that one. I think of National Donut Day and what we did with that your favorite apple fritter. So I want you to share with me, and maybe not even here, but maybe I'll post it after the show and have you all tell me where your favorite ice cream is. And again, of course, I'm in Reading, so I'm going to be able to maybe go to some of these places in Reading, but I can't necessarily go on the coast. But I'd still love to hear where some of your favorite places are because I do travel. I do explore this area. So it's always nice to know where some of those places are. So yeah, let me know in the comments, either here or in the post that I post a little bit later after the show, and we'll kind of get into that. So that should be fun. All right, folks, that's going to do it for us today. What do you say we take a look at some of the cameras in the region and see what's going on out there? Got a couple of clouds out there this morning. Not a ton, but some clouds nonetheless. And I think a lot of those will kind of clear out later this afternoon and maybe more clouds by tomorrow. That's going to do it for us today. I hope you have a great Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow right here in Coffee with Krueger at 6:30. Have a good one.